What is up, everybody? Today we're going to be discussing the Carolina Panthers and who they should pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. I got 3 prospects lined up for y'all, but first off, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. I'm posting daily NFL Draft coverage. Put the notification bell on because upload times can be kind of varied. And comment down below your thoughts and opinions on the Carolina Panthers. Let's hop right into it. So I have 3 prospects that the Panthers can draft. And yes, this is after the Sam Darnold trade because one of the prospects you might be a little confused on. Anyways, quarterback, offensive tackle, wide receiver. At quarterback, I got Trey Lance as a possibility. Offensive tackle, I got Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern, I believe. And last but certainly not least, I have not Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, the other Alabama wide receiver. So let's start off with the, quote, unlikely prospect in Mr. Trey Lance. So, Sam Darnold obviously did not have a lot of help in New York. So we do have to take that into consideration. And in addition to that, he was out for a couple of games due to mono. It's just been kind of an interesting situation. He had the whole "seen ghosts" quote, which is probably what he's going to be known for when he retires. But so far, he's not looked like a good quarterback. So he has a completion percentage of 59.8% with 8,000 yards, 8,097 to be exact, and a touchdown to interception ratio of 45 to 39 with a passer rating of 78.9. He came from USC. He would have been drafted in the 2018 draft class with the 3rd overall pick. Wow. Anyways, so picked by the Jets, he's never had a good season. 2020 season, he played 12 games, and he started all 12 of those played. And he had 9 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Yeah. So, if you doubt this man at all, I think it would be interesting to take a look at Trey Lance. So, Trey Lance, he threw 28 touchdowns to 0 interceptions, actually, in his sophomore season. Actually, it might have been his freshman season. But either way, he threw for a very good amount. Okay, yeah, it was a sophomore season. But anyways, opted out senior season due to COVID, only ended up playing 1 game. Basically, long story short, he looked very good. He had a 180.6 rating in his 28 touchdown to 0 interception. So, Trey Lance would be interesting if you doubt Sam Darnold. Now, as I said before, you need to take a look at the situation around Sam Darnold before you truly judge him, because he was in an awful situation those, 2-3 years in New York. And if you truly think that Sam Darnold is just a bad quarterback, then yeah, I think that's a fair enough statement, right? I'm not going to judge you for that. But you can also believe that he was just put in an awful situation, and I'll also not doubt you on that, right? I can see how both points of views would be valid. So, anyways, long story short, Trey Lance if you doubt Sam Darnold. So now we get to talk about Mr. Jalen Waddle out of the Alabama Crimson Tide. So many people think that he's the better wide receiver actually than Devontae Smith, which I guess I can see. So, as a true freshman, he had 45 receptions for 848 yards and 7 touchdowns. As a sophomore, he had 33 receptions for 560 yards and 6 touchdowns. And then this season, which would have been his junior season, he was actually hurt. So he returned a kickoff in a game against Tennessee and hurt his ankle. So that is a tad bit of a concern. Bit of an injury history, but, So, besides the injury history, he's looked like a very good wide receiver. He's 22 years old, 5'10", 183. I can see where the height might potentially be an issue in general, but we've seen guys like Cole Beasley succeed, and then even at the college level, guys like Rondale Moore, 5'7", succeed. So I don't think height should be too big of an issue. It's always good to stock up at wide receiver in the draft, particularly if you do have a younger quarterback such as Sam Darnold, getting him a good guy that can get out there and make those catches with especially with the extreme route running that Mr. Waddle has. So I could see that happening. Now, even though the Panthers are, they kind of have a decent amount of weapons already with guys like Christian McCaffrey. I always think it's always a good idea to look at least adding another guy, especially when you have a guy as talented as Jalen Waddle. Now, for the third and final prospect I could see them drafting, I have Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. So he is a offensive lineman. He's a senior this year. And yeah, he's very good at football. I mean, he's a lineman. He does not a ton of stats. So I do have this. So true freshman, he would have named Big Ten All Freshman team. As a sophomore, he was named Big Ten third team. And then also as a sophomore, by the way, he actually no, as a junior, he had 0 sacks. He allowed 0 sacks in 11 starts as a junior. And then he decided to come back for his senior season. However, he ultimately ended up postponing it due to COVID-19 and the Big Ten having no clue what they were doing. 6'3", 305. So I've seen a couple Big Ten games here and there, and I can tell you that this guy is an absolute. He is very good. So this kind of like a word of mouth thing. As I said before, it's kind of difficult to diagnose offensive tackles with stats. It's kind of you got to watch the games almost. So that's how I feel about Mr. Rashawn Slater. Who do I see the Panthers ultimately selecting? I'm going to have to go with Rashawn Slater, to be quite honest. Line help is always good. And as mentioned before, especially when you have these younger quarterbacks such as Sam Darnold or, just Sam Darnold in general. Line help is always useful, always needed. And I think it would be a pretty good pickup for them. So thanks so much for watching, y'all. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that cool stuff. Y'all have an amazing day, and I'll see y'all around. Peace out, y'all.